ecology research. Thanks, Taryn.
I think it's all right. Good morning, everyone. Because I always subscribe to peer pressure, I'm walking around with the mic instead of hanging on the podium, so social norms. There we go. So I'm talking a little bit today about the incredible role and opportunity that recreational anglers have, specifically related to movement ecology research. So people fish for various reasons, right? I think Judy asked the question earlier, who's an angler in the room? And I think the vast majority of people here indicated, yes, I am a recreational angler, including myself. I may not catch very many fish or very big fish, but I am an avid angler. So people fish for various reasons, whether it was with parents or grandparents. Judy caught her first fish at 2 years old, or whether you want to get out with friends or family, whether it's cousins or nieces or nephews or whoever. Maybe you only picked up a rod last year for the first time, but it really is a sport that lends itself well to getting hooked, unintentional. So it's a really, really fantastic sport, and you get a lot of buy-in from a lot of people. So in order to study the movement of fish, you need to, in order to tag them with a whole bunch of different things, you've got a suite of tags now available to study the movement of these animals, including pit tags, dart tags, satellite tags, VIF tags, and specifically my field of research, acoustic tags. But in order to actually tag an animal, you need to catch it. So this is where fishing comes in, and it's a lot of fun. And there's a lot of people that specifically ended up getting in this field of research because it afforded them the opportunity to catch some really amazing fish. I'm just going to give a little plug to my colleague, Chantal Elston, who will actually be sharing more about the dart tagging program, South Africa's Oceanographic Research Institute Cooperative Fish Tagging Project, on all dart tagging, and it's been this amazing 42-year project, largely related to recreational angling catches. So please, can you all consider going to check out her talk at 2 o'clock this afternoon over here. So fishing is one of those things I feel, and again, I'm speaking as somebody who enjoys fishing but isn't very good at it. You get some people that just have that Midas touch, right? You get the Rob Kyles over here, you get the Warren Pottses, Bruce Mann's photo should be there as well. But you get some people that will just put bait on a line, they will throw their water into the line, throw their line into the water, and 9 out of 10 times, you're probably going to end up with a fish, given good conditions and everything else. Then you get the other contingent of anglers who try their hardest. They are haphazard. They really don't have any finesse when it comes to baiting up. Yet, they somehow manage to land the fish of a lifetime. That is my brother-in-law. Judy, don't look at the intentions or the practices of the thing. So he's not well versed in that. But this is my brother-in-law. He is such a haphazard angler. He probably threw a piece of chocker on after dropping it in the sand and putting it on his line and threw it in the water. And he landed this probably 35-kilogram dusky cob. This is one of our prized angling species. And worst of all, it was about 500 meters off the estuary mouth where we've got a small little place called Acoustic. 500 meters off the estuary mouth. My husband has been fishing for 44 years and is yet to catch one of these fish. So he needless to say, that evening he said he's not green with envy, he's purple with envy. So yeah, you get this various array of fishes and varying degrees of how good they are. So if there's one thing you need to remember for this talk, is that recreational anglers are actually really useful, and they can help a lot. They can play such an important role in movement ecology research. If I can find. There we go. Recreational anglers are amazingly helpful and useful. So this was actually at a fishing competition, and there's a guy who caught a really big raggy as we got onto the beach, and some really good handling practices in the surf. Okay, so a little bit about what it is I manage. It's not a one-man program. If I can try to get back, sorry for the slides. So we have our own acoustic tracking array, our own acoustic telemetry platform in South Africa called the Acoustic Tracking Array Platform. All the little white dots you see on the screen are independent stations. So we've currently got about 300 receivers covering 2,300 kilometers of the coastline. We're currently tracking 35 species, but overall 56 have been tagged, and we've collected over 30 million individual data points. But I really want to give a shout out. This is like a massive collaborative effort where the receivers in the water are made up of receivers belonging or equipment belonging to multiple different organizations, including Amber and the Safer Lab team. So it's really this massive collaborative effort, and we work together to collectively learn more about some key species, a lot of which are line fishery species, so fish caught with rod and line, and varying fishery importance. So a lot of the species that have been studied can either be estuary-dependent species, so they are go into estuaries as juveniles and then move into the marine environment as they get older, like your dusky cob here in the top left. You get some cool reef-associated species like the bronze bream in the middle, incredible tourism species as well, like the giant kingfish. I mean, these are peak predators, strong fighters. You get a suite of amazing stingrays like this duckbill ray down at the bottom, critically endangered species. And then you get some really top predatory sharks, highly mobile, like the bull shark down in the bottom right. So what is the role that recreational anglers can actually help with this field of research? And the first is local knowledge, right? You get people that are out in the water every single day or when the weather allows, and they know their stretch of coastline. They know what they're fishing for. They know this condition, if I use this bait, I'm going to catch this species. And a lot of the time they know how to target some animals that you don't necessarily know how to catch. There's also quite a good organization around these bodies. So you've got some good fishing clubs, you've got excellent competitive angling bodies, and they can be very organized in their how they go about their activities, and they collect a lot of information as well. So you've got a date of a competition, you've got the species, you've got lengths or weights or whatever it may be. So it's a really great opportunity to collect a lot of information, and the Safe Lab guys are doing an incredible job with consolidating a lot of the information from the South African Shore Association, Angling Association, and the RASPL, which you'll have heard crop up in a couple of talks. And then especially when it comes to competitive angling and the competitive recreational guys, there is an exceptional amount of effort in a very short space of time and on a shorter stretch of coastline. So you'll have 100 lines in the water. So the chances of you catching that species that you're hoping to tag is so much higher relative to if you had to go with a 5-man team on your holiday to go and catch some animals. So you can really lean into this. And a couple of examples where this has been really successful for the work that we've done is we targeted some angling competitions. We sat out in the water, we left at 2:30 in the morning, make sure we were at the site in time. I think this was a competition down at a stretch of coastline on our south coast. And the aim of the game was to tag duckbill rays and diamond rays. So while I think you can generally target them, Rob, you're going to have to correct me on this, they are probably not going to come out all the time. So having 100 lines in the water, the chances of catching those animals is so much higher. So we actually targeted these competitions between 2016 and 2019, and we ended up tagging 56 individuals of these species and ended up getting some really amazing coastal migration work related to these animals. The nice thing, and I should have included a slide on it, is the social engagement kind of aspect of it, because the beauty of acoustic telemetry is that it's an individual animal that you are following around at any given time. So if you keep in contact with that angler, we often take their contact details, and every now and again they'll message, hey, what was my fish up to? And then you can give them that little breakdown. So they've got almost this added investment into handling an animal correctly and figuring out, there's invested interest there. What's my fish doing? So it's actually quite a nice little feedback loop too. Then another example, I think this was one of the RASPL competitions, hey Amber, you might have to correct me. So we went to Algoa Bay, so that's where the Port Elizabeth Airport is in Gqeberha, and we targeted these little common eagle rays, critically endangered species, beautiful little rays, and it was part of a greater project where we had to tag batches of rays in 4 sites along the coastline. But we knew that the chances of catching these animals at that time of year would have been good because they're most likely inshore. But again, went to a competition. And within about 8 hours, we had our sample size. It was a great day. Everything was good. So it really worked out beautifully for us. This work is still ongoing, and hopefully we'll be looking at writing it up in the next 2 or 3 years. But yeah, it was also nice for the anglers because they kind of got wind that we were after some eagle rays, so it kind of became a little competitive. Who's going to get that last eagle ray? So it was a really wonderful day out. Then Amber alluded to these projects yesterday in her talk. So there's 2 big projects that are on the go at the moment on this iconic angling species, the dusky cob, and called Safe Zone and Care Zone. And it's a plug for students, really, because a lot of the students that come on these projects are very keen anglers themselves. So they take off their student hat and they put on their angler hat, and they get to take part in these super cool trips. And again, dedicated effort, but yeah, a lot of lines in the water. But over 2 evenings and 1 evening, all our samples were tagged for these 2 species, silver cob and dusky cob. So again, it was fantastic to be able to capacitate these students, but also to have them play an active role in getting the animals tagged. And then lastly, the example is this cool little endemic shark species. It is vulnerable. Bruce led the study on it. It's called the flat-nosed hound shark. It's pretty much found in a very small stretch of coastline. But again, it shows that researchers can also, they're actually anglers masquerading as researchers. So they managed to get this little sample size done, and it ended up being a really cool study. And I think it's probably going to come out quite soon, Bruce. But again, 13 individuals that were tied up to a complementary tagging component, but took advantage of those opportunities. So yeah, whether you are fishing for fun or in competitive angling, or you're going on a day out with the family or having a beer, alongside the estuary, people fish for various reasons. But there is such an opportunity here for us to kind of link hands together with recreational anglers. Amber said a nice little phrase yesterday that was partners in conservation, but not subjects of regulation. Yes. So I think that just tied everything so nicely for me, because there really is an opportunity here, and I feel like there's good buy-in from anglers when that's my fish, and my fish is going to do that. So I think that is just, it's so powerful to kind of make that connection. So with that, huge shout out to the recreational angling community. They've always been very supportive of what we do and our various funders for all the various things. A shameless plug for our social media. Please give us a follow. We try and share the stories. So we try to stay away from the heavy science. Obviously, there's like, so many animals were tagged in this length and these many detections, but we really just try and give interesting little snippets. So if you would like to hear some interesting snippets about South African fish that have been tagged, please give us a follow. And with that, thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Taryn. Again, we have time for some questions. Julie.
Taryn, I love the work that you're doing, especially on the sharing stories side of things. So my question to you is, how can we help you to amplify those stories? Because I spoke about the individual animals, and that's the power of connecting people to an individual. How can we amplify those stories from your social media much more widely and effectively? Any ideas?
Sure, tough question. I think there's, again, you talked earlier about these ripples of change. So small change in small areas and sort of work out from there. So I think of your wonderful exhibition at the back. There could be an opportunity there where you say, did you know a dusky cob was tagged over here at this coastline? And you can slowly feed those individual stories to get buy-in, like, this is amazing, I wonder what other species are doing. So I think it's a case of starting small and slowly identifying those key places where you can infiltrate and like slowly start making a change. But I think identifying those places or those little parts would probably be quite tricky. But maybe angling competitions or something, or clubhouses, if they're actively involved in something too, could be an opportunity.
Cool. We've got time for one more. No. Cool. Thanks very much, Taryn. Thomas, just a note. pressure's on. Both previous speakers finished within 10 seconds of 12 minutes. Our next our next speaker is Thomas Kieforth, and he's going to be talking to us a little bit about that Global Recreational Fisheries Management School. Thank you, Thomas.